Hey there, Radiant families. It's time for another lesson overview. And you're getting this video because you have a child in our early childhood classes that is going to get into a new curriculum series, and we are now sending these videos out for you. That's right. We know that you have the biggest job in the world, and that is to grow passionate followers of Jesus that will impact this world, and we want to partner with you. And so that's the purpose of these videos. I'd love to hear your thoughts, your input. I'm hearing a lot of great testimonies from other moms and dads about how this is helping them, and that is the whole point. So I'm not making these videos because I like to see myself on video. Actually, it's kind of awkward sometimes, but that's okay if it's helping you. So I do love to hear the feedback. Let me know what you think, and even how maybe we can improve things and make them better. All right, let's get into it. You're getting this video because we're about to start our 8-week series on Easter. Now, you might be counting the weeks already because I know some of you are very accurate and think at 8 weeks, there's less than 8 weeks to Easter. I'm glad you figured that out, and I want to talk about that because it's actually really important. I love how Carmel, my wife, set up this curriculum series so it actually leads to and then follows up from the story of Easter. So Easter is actually going to be on week number 5. And the weeks will lead up to that. But before we get into that, I want to emphasize and highlight the whole purpose of this. I would love for you to talk about the lessons before we actually talk about them in class. Why? Because when you do that, we become the supporters of you. You become the spiritual head of your home. You're the one giving out the word, and we are only emphasizing or re-emphasizing what you've already said. This changes the paradigm, and now families are empowered in a stronger way. Your kids understand that you are giving out the spiritual meat, and we are just supplementing that. Because the fact is, even if we pretend that that's not the case, and you think, well, I don't really know what I'm doing, the fact is, no matter what, you are making a way bigger impact on your child's life than we at the church could ever make. But the partnership together makes this all the more powerful and dynamic. So let's get into it in the story of Easter. Like I said, it's going to be 8 weeks starting this next weekend. And we're going to start off talking about the palm branches. Okay, Jesus is riding a donkey. We got the Bible stories listed. And by the way, we'll have all the Bible stories and the verses that are correlated for each and every lesson so that you know what direction we're going each and every week and what lessons and stories you can review and what verses you can help your kids memorize. So what are we going to learn? We're going to talk about celebrating Jesus as our true King because he is King. Then the week after, washing the disciples' feet in John chapter 13. Jesus served others, and we can bring that lesson into our homes. As a matter of fact, if you decide to wash your kids' feet, would you take some pictures, share it? I'd love to see how you make these lessons come to life. The week after that, we're talking about the Last Supper. That's right, communion. Taking the time to remember what Jesus did for us. This is extremely important, especially leading up to Easter. Also, if you wanted to, this might be a first blush or exposure to doing communion together as a family. If you have questions, let me know. I'd love to talk to you about that because doing communion as a family is a powerful thing that we can do in our homes. Leading our children in communion. It's an amazing moment to bring the sacrament into our homes and you, again, establishing yourself as a spiritual head of your home. All right, we'll continue though. Then we're going to talk about the cross in the garden and on the cross. Sin separated us from God. Jesus is our way back to God. Jesus died so that we could be forgiven. The story isn't over. Jesus comes back to life. Then we're going to talk about the empty tomb, and this is Easter. So yes, we're talking about the cross in the garden leading up to his death, but we still always celebrate it. Now, Easter, we're going to talk about the empty tomb. We're going to talk about how Jesus didn't stay in the grave. He didn't stay dead, but 3 days later he rose. And that's really amazing. So then we get to the follow-up, and this is why I love this curriculum. Often we talk about Easter and then we're kind of done with it. But the fact is that Jesus came, he died on the cross, rose from the dead, and gave us victory. And then we move forward in life, now walking in this partnership and relationship with him. And so we got 3 more weeks of what that looks like. Then we talk about Jesus returns. Jesus came back to life. He rose from the dead. It's important to recognize that Jesus came back from the dead and that he is real. In that class, we'll talk about his hands and how they were scarred, but that he was walking around and alive. In week 7, we talk about how Jesus goes to heaven. This is an important and powerful lesson in talking about the fact that Jesus not only came, but then he commissioned us to go. So Jesus ascends to heaven. And finally, week 8, the Holy Spirit comes, Acts chapter 2. Jesus is coming back and we need to be ready. Jesus gives us the Holy Spirit. Now, that's a lot of lessons. It's really a culmination of the whole gospel, Jesus' story for our kids. How he came, served, died, rose, and then commissioned us to go. So this is an amazing 8-week series that will help set your kids up to understand what is this Jesus thing that we talk about, and what does that mean for us? How do we carry it out as we hear God's voice to go into all the world? How do we act that out at home? So these lessons are going to be powerful. They're going to help you. And there's 2 more little things that I think would be important for you to do at home as we do them each and every week. And the first one is we're going to talk about the main point. The main point is the one verse or line, not verse. The main point is the one line that kind of says what this whole lesson series is about, and we have motion. So here it is. It says, Jesus gave his life for me. So Jesus, pointing up, gave his life, stretching your arms out. I don't know if you can see my hands anymore, but for me. And you can do that over and over again at home to help your kids remember what we're learning about. Then the verse is John 3:16. I know you may have this memorized, but it's a great verse for your kids right now to get deep into their heart. So it's, for God so loved the world that he gave his one and only Son. John 3:16. Yes, you can take your kids further into the verse, but I just want you to know, because we're dealing with early childhood, kids under kindergarten, we're going to keep the verse there just so they understand and can memorize the verse. Because what is most important for us is that the word gets in them. Now, if you practice at home, it makes it even more effective and possible. One last thing before I go, because part of the point of these videos is to pastor you as you pastor your children. And so one of the things I wanted to share is that each and every week, we often share stories from this beginner's Bible. So if you're wondering what Bible to get your kids, this would be an amazing resource for them. If you already have it, what I want to do is also provide you with all of the pages. So what we've done is each and every week, the pages are actually listed in our curriculum. You can ask your teacher in the kids' classroom, or you can look at the listing that we put in the email that we sent with you, and it tells you what pages that you can find these stories in. So then you don't have to look and dig for them. You don't have to wonder what Bible to read it from. You can always, of course, read it from your actual Bible. But this is the Bible that we quite often use when we teach your kids about Jesus. So that might make it a little easier, and your kids are knowing the stories. Maybe they can help read along. And again, it just breeds that familiarity so that it goes a little bit deeper in them. So listen, we're about to go into Easter. It's an important and amazing time, especially in our faith, because of all that Jesus has done for us. And so I pray that you are empowered to bring the story of Jesus into your home, bring it to life so it sinks deep into your child's heart, and they carry it on for a lifetime should Jesus tarry. Thanks so much for hanging out with me, and I look forward to talking to you again soon. And please give us feedback, click like, subscribe if you haven't already, just so you can get these videos. And please let me know if there's other ways we can help you bring Jesus even more intimately into your home. I'll talk to you later.